Being that there weren't a lot of people here on Monday, just do a little bit more of a thorough review of what we learned. Anyone that was here, remember what we learned? Which halachas?
Yeah.
Which one? Ah, okay.
You tell me first and then we will.
Okay. So I'll give you a hint. You can even look inside. Chapter 28. Siman Chav Ches. We're learning the halachas. We finished it, but some other people should be able to catch up also. The halachas pertaining to a Seifer Torah and other Sifrei Kodesh, other holy books. So we discussed primarily two mitzvahs. The mitzvah of writing a Seifer Torah, which that's a mitzvah for itself, but the main reason why I wanted to learn this chapter is because in this chapter we learn the halachas of how to treat, how shvatim should be treated, the respect that should be given to shvatim, and how we actually show this respect. So we'll just do a quick review. There's a mitzvah, there's a positive commandment in the Torah, chapter 28. What is it, 194? What's the page number? 191? 170, okay. Yeah, chapter 20, which page is it?
It's 192.
192, okay. 192. 192, chapter 28. Yeah. So it's a positive commandment in the Torah that every single Jewish person should write the Seifer Torah. This includes, even if somebody inherited a Torah from their parents, nevertheless, there's still a mitzvah that they should write their own Torah. So, practically speaking, as we're going to see in a second, excuse me, you don't actually have to write and be a trained scribe who knows all the halachas. If you hire a scribe to write it for you, this counts. Another way to do it is if you purchased a Seifer Torah which was not fit for use yet, it wasn't kosher, and you fixed it up. Even if you fixed up only one letter, the Torah views it as if you wrote that entire Torah. And for a very simple reason. Because for a Torah to be kosher, fit for use, it has to be that every single letter is kosher. So if one letter was not kosher, that would deem the entire Seifer Torah not fit for use. And by you fixing it, you made the Torah fit for use. So the Torah views it as if you wrote the entire Seifer Torah. Now, as we mentioned last week, there's a simple thing that can be done. Is you can purchase online a letter, an Ois b'Seifer Torah, a letter in the Seifer Torah, and that way everyone can have a portion in this mitzvah. Now, together with the mitzvah of writing a Seifer Torah, there's also a special mitzvah to buy Sifrei Kodesh, to buy holy books. So Mitzvah Shem, when you'll have your own homes, it's a very important mitzvah to have a lot of Sfarim. Not just having Sfarim, but you'll see by having the Sfarim there, it's going to add to your life. It's going to add to the house is going to be imbued with Torah. The future children, this is what they're going to go towards to learn Torah, so on and so forth. It's going to be a whole different home.
I'm so confused now if I can put it here, because here I have
Oh, the answer is yes, because it's not a full Seifer. You don't have a full Seifer. It's just printouts. It's a good thing. That means you listen to the class, and you're very good. It's a good thing. Baruch Hashem, yeah, very good. Gimel, the third halacha. There's a mitzvah on every single person to show a lot of respect to a Seifer Torah. There's a mitzvah that the Seifer Torah should have its own place designated for the Seifer Torah, which is called an Aron Kodesh, a holy ark. Obviously one cannot spit in front of the Seifer Torah. You should hold the Torah only when it's in its in the cover. One who sees the Seifer Torah being carried, you have to stand up for the Seifer Torah until the Seifer Torah is brought to its place. And also, there's a special mitzvah. This more applies for people who are in the men's section, because if the Seifer Torah passes by you, there's a mitzvah to actually walk together with the Seifer Torah to wherever it's going. What's the halacha? Does anybody remember if you have a bench and there's a sefer on it? Can you sit down on this bench? No. Oh, what could you do? You can move it, yeah. Yeah, of course you can move it. There's another there's another thing that can be done. If you take something and you put it down, as long as it's one tefach high, as long as it's at least 8 centimeters high, you put the sefer on top, then you can sit on the bench. Anything, as long as it can hold the sefer, it's around 8 centimeters high, you can put the sefer on top and sit on the bench, and that's okay. Oh, if it's a sefer, no. If it's a storybook, yeah. Can you put Svarim on the floor?
No.
No. Oh, very good. Very good. Yes. If you need, if you're learning from it, yeah. Yeah.
Can we sit on the floor
with the sefer, yeah. If you're holding the sefer, yeah. What goes on top of what? A chumash goes on top of a siddur?
Yes.
Yeah. A siddur goes on top of a chumash?
No.
No. The klal is, the general rule is, a chumash is always on top, followed by neviim uksuvim. So you have over here the prophets, they come second. There's two types, there's the neviim and the ksuvim. It doesn't make a difference. Both of those can overlap. You can put one on top of the other, but a chumash always goes on top. Now, this is a very good question. What happens if you have, printouts and little handouts from Nevi'im Uksuvim? Are you allowed to put a siddur on top of it? Are you allowed to put something which usually does not go on top of it? The answer is yes, because it's not a full sefer. It's just a printout. So if you just have printouts and you have another sefer, it could go on top. The main thing is that it shouldn't be anything going on top of a full sefer like this. Nothing should go on top of that except for a chumash.
So first Nevi'im, then Ksuvim?
Oh, no, either or. They can go on top of each other. It's okay. If Chas Shalom Sefer Torah was no longer fit for use and you can't fix it, what do? You bury it, exactly. You can't throw it in the garbage. It has to be buried. And the same is, it's not just for a Sefer Torah. The same is when it comes to any other Sefer. If it's no longer fit for use and you can't fix it, then it should be buried and of course not thrown in the garbage. And obviously one cannot burn them. Is there an extra Is there an extra volume 1? Should be.
So every paper that also we need to.
So it depends. If you read from it, if you used it, we'll see. It's the next halacha. Then the halacha is it has to be put in Gnezah, has to be put in the shemes and the shemat, in the place where they will bury it eventually. Correct. If you didn't use it,
If it has like only one time Shem, it needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. So let's say you want to pass a sefer to your friend. Can you throw it?
No.
No, that's right. You have to go and you have to bring it to them. So even though you're giving it to them to use, you're not just throwing it for no reason. Nevertheless, one may not throw svarim. Can you have a sefer put upside down? No, it has to always be right side up. And not only that, so not only can one not put it upside down, but if you do see a sefer which was flipped upside down, one should go ahead and turn it back to the right side up.
Does this also count for ventures, like if you?
Yeah, for ventures also, exactly, yeah. Oh, now, let's say it's very, very sunny, and the sun is shining right to your eyes. Can you take a safer to protect your, no, the answer is not. What happens if the sun is shining very high, very much, on another safer? Can you take another safer to protect the other safer? You're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for the other safer.
But then the other.
Oh, so could you? Can you protect it for the other safer? Yeah, the answer is yes.
But then what with the other side?
You're doing it. Oh, so you only can't use a safer for your own needs, but for using it for the need of another safer, it's okay. It's fine. Can I take a safer and use it as a bookmark? No. So if I'm leaving the room, I cannot use another safer as a bookmark. Can I store papers in the safer? The answer is not.
So what is the value?
Nothing. So if you do like this, I actually have papers over here. So how could I do it? What's the answer? Because I'm not storing the papers over here. I'm not using the safer as storage. Rather, I'm writing down from learning, taking the notes, and then putting it here because it's connected to the learning. So when I open it, I'll remember the notes that I had. So that is very different than just storing random papers in the safer. Yeah.
So if you want to use something as a bookmark, you have to first write.
Correct. Yeah, you get a bookmark. Correct. Meaning, a bookmark is different because you're not just storing random pages in there. It's yeah. Sure.
But it's from that one.
Yeah, sure.
And if we drink, and we need to do chachman before we finish the tefillah.
Oh, so after the tefillah, then you need to go to
So it doesn't matter to start tefillah if we did it like the chachman.
Meaning you did make the bracha achrona yet, and then you're about to pray the nidah.
No, before, if we.
Oh, you drink before the tefillah altogether.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, so it's important to make the bracha before, and then to daven. Yeah, that's the best thing to do.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you talk about the children's book, you can put one up top on the other or no?
Yeah, children's book is not a problem. Yeah. Just not on top of a sefer.
But for example, the little midrash say.
Oh, so that's actually Torah. That's actually, so it's made for little kids, but it's not just stories. There's actually Torah in it. So yeah, so it would be treated as a regular sefer. What happens if you walked into a store that's quite clearly not a store where they sell tefillin, mezuzahs, Seifer Torah, and you found tefillin over there? And you know that if you don't save it, it's going to go to waste. What is the obligation of somebody to save the tefillin? Anyone remember? Do you pay whatever the guy tells you, or can you offer too little? Do you have to give the value? Do you have to bargain? What's the story?
It has to be a fair price.
It has to be a fair price.
Let you buy it for a fair price. You have to do that.
Exactly. So you have to go and you have to pay a fair price. And the reason for that is, if you're going to overpay, it's going to, what's it called? It's going to encourage the merchant to, get tefillin. And obviously, if a store which doesn't usually sell tefillin is not just something that any regular person can write. Obviously, it was stolen. So the thief sees that he's able to get a good price for this product, he'll definitely want to go and get more of it. But if you offer just the value, then it's okay. You shouldn't offer too little, and it's brought down because you don't want to offend the merchant or the thief, really. So you should just throw it out. Hey, this is what you're offering it. Forget about the whole deal. You offer the value of what it's worth. If he pushes for a higher price, you can't give it because it's going to encourage this behavior. As I mentioned last time, the story that there was once a shliach, whoever it was, that came into a store and he saw a pair of tefillin. Oh, what's this doing here? Obviously it was stolen, and so he tries it on, and he says it's missing the other arm. You're selling me a non-complete pair of tefillin. So he said, I'll give you half price. The merchant doesn't know the difference, and he took it. So creativity works. It's also a good thing to do. If Chas v'Shalom Seifer Torah fell onto the floor, even if it was in its cover, the one who chopped it has to fast, and the minig is the custom is the people that saw the Seifer Torah fall, they also have to fast. Okay, that is a quick review of what we learned last week. Now we're going to be learning Siman Chavtes, chapter 29. And it's a very important chapter, and I'll explain to you why. Once I was speaking with somebody in a Chabad house and discussing different things, and I mentioned that there's laws of how a Jew has to eat, how a Jew has to sleep. The conduct of a Jew's life is completely surrounded by the Torah. And he was so, wow, this is incredible that Hashem cares even how you eat. Meaning there's two ways to look at it. One way is to look at it, it's such a burden, I can't even eat the way I want. That's obviously not the correct way of looking at it. The correct way of looking at it is, wow, I matter so much, my small actions matter so much that any small thing I do, I have the chance to connect to Hashem. Right? So sometimes it's hard. Of course it could be hard. But the main thing is, you're not working hard for no reason. Every time you work hard to do a mitzvah, every single time you work hard to fulfill a halacha, it's not to waste. This action that you do connects you to Hashem himself. And the reason why I'm saying this now is now we're going to be learning the halachas of midas, of character traits that one should train themselves to have. And it goes to show you, even small things like that, such a thing in our life, there's a halacha of how it should be done. And the reason is because every single aspect of a Jew's life is negeya, it matters to Hashem, and it should be done al pi Torah, according to how the Torah commands us. So, Siman Chavtes, chapter 29, Midas sheyagel b'hem ha'adam es atzmei u'bay chav aleph se'ifim. The character traits that a person should train themselves to have, and there are 21 halachas in this chapter. So Aleph. Noshim chalukim heim b'deisem pirush b'tivehem. Every single person is different. Every single person, their nature is not the same as their friend's nature. One person is one way, the other person right beside them is the other way. Yesh adam shehu ba'al chem v'kas tamid. There's somebody who's always upset. There's always mad, Yesh adam shedaitim yeshevas alav einakais klal. And then you have people, they don't get upset. They're not always on fire, so to speak. Or he can get upset once every many years. By nature, they're much more easygoing. And if somebody does something to them, big deal, they brush it off. And sometimes, some of you have people that constantly, you can tick them off, so to speak, very, very easily. You press the wrong button that morning, they flare up. Some people, they have strong desires, whatever, everywhere they go, they just go with desires. Food, clothing, honor, respect, whatever it is, whatever could have a desire, they're there. They have a desire for that. And then you have people that are completely the opposite nature. They're happy with what they have, they're good-hearted, whatever they have is good, and they don't desire anymore. You have some people that they have a very wide outlook, so to speak, and all the money in the world, so to speak, would not satisfy their need. Like the pasuk says, the one who loves money, he's never going to be satisfied with money. Yeah, v'yesh mekatzer nafshe v'dayle afilu b'davar muat shleyaspik loy v'yidif lahasik deitzarke. And then you have the exact opposite: people that are happy with what they have. They're not running after money. If they have what they need for that moment, Baruch Hashem, they're happy with it, and they're not going to run to get more than what they want. Yesh shehum nesagif atzmei b'rav v'kevitz el yodei. There are some people that they starve themselves, so to speak. They don't whatever food that they eat from themselves, they eat very little. They're the exact opposite. People that spend all the money to have good food, to have a nice set table. So too, when it comes to any other aspect of character traits, you're going to have always both extremes. Some people are going to have a lot of rachmanis. They're going to be naturally more compassionate with others, and then you have those who are their problem, which is the exact opposite of compassion, obviously. So whichever character trait you have, there's always two sides to the coin, and there's people that have different natures, right? So the question is, what do we do? As a person learning this halacha, which way should they take? And that's what we're going to be learning today. Base. The second halacha, haderech, hateva, v'hayasher, the proper, the good and straight way that a person that a person should accustom themselves to is laleches b'derech emtzoi, to go in the middle ground. Oh, yeah, you have always two extremes. You go in the middle. Lo yisava el dvarim she'aguv tzarich lehen v'yavshel lichies zulason. One should not desire only for things that he needs to survive, to live. That's what a person should desire. So not to desire anything, we're saying no, that's not a good thing, because you need to live. So to desire whatever you need to live, so two extremes. You can either desire absolutely nothing, or you can desire everything. So we're saying no, you take the middle ground. You should only have a desire for things that you need to survive, to live. Like the pasuk says, a tzaddik, he eats for his life, so to speak. He eats to survive. He's not eating not for extra pleasure. He's not eating too little. He's eating what he needs to live. Likewise, you should not be a workaholic. Right? So on one hand, you cannot not work at all. Somebody wants to sit down and say, Hashem is going to give me all my money. No, this is not the derech. This is not the proper thing. One has to work. But on the other hand, you can't be too extreme. You can't take it to the extreme where it completely takes over your life. Rather, you work to make what you need and not to overdo it, right? So you have two extremes. You can either drop everything and not work, chas v'shalom, that's a terrible thing. Or you can take the other extreme and be, so to speak, a workaholic. That's also not a healthy thing, because a person's life is not their work, right? So what do? We take the middle approach. You work to earn what you need. Also, one should not, save every single penny and also the other way, he shouldn't waste all his money. You do the middle ground. You give tzedakah properly, you give out loans to help your friends and family, whoever it is, whoever needs. You don't just give everything for yourself, but you don't give everything. You give in the middle ground way. You cannot be somebody who is overly happy is the wrong word, overly frivolous. So that's more of a kalus resh. How do they translate it in your print? You can't be over halulus and leitzanus. You can't be a clown just making jokes the whole day. But on the other hand, you can't be depressed. So what do? You take the middle ground. And you're happy. You're happy with what you have. You're happy with life. You can't overdo it and just take life as a joke. You cannot be overly sad. You take a middle ground. And that's the proper thing to do. Yeah, the same is true for most of the other midas. One who goes in the middle way, they are called a chacham. Who knows what a chacham is? A wise person. A wise person always goes in the middle. Oh, now we're going to find a different character trait. And how do we deal with that? Gimel, the third halacha, hagaiva. Who knows what gaiva means? Huh? Sorry? It's a what? Anger. No, anger is kas. Chema, gaiva is haughtiness. Somebody, I am this, I am that. Somebody who really holds very, very highly themselves. Gaiva, himida ram oid. It's a very bad midah. It's a very bad character trait. That's what it says right here. Midah raba oid. A very bad midah, to have gaiva, to be. How do they translate it in English? It's haughtiness, but do they have a better word? How? Ego. Oh, ego is also. Oh, ego. Egoistic, haughty. These things is a very bad thing to have. One cannot have any ego or haughtiness, even a little bit. One should accustom themselves. You should be humble spirited. Like the Chachamim told us, one has to be very, very humble. So how should one accustom themselves practically that they should be very humble? All of your words should be said gently. For your head shouldn't be, I'm this and this. No, it should be kafuf, it should be a little bit bent over. When you walk, you should look a little bit lower. But your heart is always to Hashem, is always up. Every person that you meet, you should look at them as if they're greater than you. If you meet somebody who's a greater scholar than you, so you have to show them honor. If they're wealthier than you, you also have to show them respect. Why? Like we find by Rebbe, from one of the sages, he would show honor to the wealthy people. Why is that? It's brought down in Sfarim because they're not wealthy from their own. A person may think he worked hard and he made a lot of money. The reality is no, because Hashem chose them to be wealthy. So the fact that Hashem chose them to be wealthy, that shows that there's a special honor that they were zeicha to, that they merited. So that deserves honor for this detail, for these people. The Tachshev, one should think in their minds, And the very fact that Hashem gave them the wealth, the fact that they have it from Hashem, it means that they're actually deserving of it. They must have done something so great that we don't know about, that Hashem gave it to them. The exact opposite. If somebody is smaller in their knowledge than you, or they're less well off than you. Sorry. So if somebody is, what are we trying to get to? I'll just explain outside and then I'll translate what we just wrote. Right? We just said that somebody who, how do you train yourself? How do you get yourself to be humble? Every single person that you look at, you always think of them that they are greater than you. So if they know more Torah than you, so of course you have to show them respect. If they're wealthier than you, you have to show them respect. Why? Because the fact that they have it, it means that they must have done something that Hashem gave it to them, that they were so befitting to receive it, that action that they did, whatever it is, they merited that Hashem should give it to them. Now, the exact opposite. What happens if somebody is less knowledgeable than you? You also have to show them respect because they're also better than you in a certain sense. Why? Here's what we just read. Because if somebody who's more knowledgeable does an Aveira, it's much worse than if somebody who's less knowledgeable does an Aveira. Because the more knowledgeable person should have known better. And if they still did it, exactly. And if they still did it, it's much more of a problem. But somebody who's less knowledgeable, right? If somebody is less knowledgeable and they did an Aveira, it could be they didn't know any better. Right? If they didn't know any better, it's much less of a transgression of somebody who knew better and still did it. Right? So whoever we bump into in life, this is the attitude that we have to show, that we have to be humbled before them. Yeah, in if this is the approach that a person takes, this is how they look at people, this is how they speak, this is how they conduct their day-to-day life, you're not going to have a problem of ego, of haughtiness, all the days of your life. Dalid, another attribute that we have to stay far away from. So we just said haughtiness. Another one is v'chein hakayas, somebody who always is upset, is always mad. Anger is also a very bad midah. He midah rama oid, it's also a very bad midah. It's befitting it's befitting for a person to distance themselves from this trait very, very much. It should have nothing to do with you. A person should accustom themselves that they shouldn't even get mad over something which really they should get mad about. Right? So even something which is legitimate for you to get upset about, for you to get mad at, you should train yourself in a way that you should not get mad about it. Right? Oh, this is the kids. Yeah, very good. Sometimes a parent has to discipline their children. If the kids did something which is completely out of the line, so what do you do then? You don't get upset. You can't show that anger at their actions. The answer is what we just read. No. In your heart, you should be completely calm. But for the purpose to discipline the children, you should show as if you're upset. But you yourself should never be upset. If they hate each other, chas v'shalom, or they came home from school and you found out that they got into a fight and they hurt another child, chas v'shalom, they did something dangerous, So you have to show them the seriousness of their action. It cannot go undisciplined, but in your heart, you're not upset, you're not mad. You're showing the severity of what they did. You are showing anger, but you yourself are actually not angry.
But basically, like in real life, it like happens another way. Like,
What do you mean, how?
I mean, like
You get
in
upset.
hurt, yeah, in hurt, you're just like, I'm okay. And maybe like no, like in hurt, you're like so angry, and then you show like people like, okay, Ella, you know what I mean? Like in real life,
Correct.
it's bit.
Oh, correct. So this is exactly what we're learning. We have to take the real life and flip it to what it says over here. It's very hard. It is very hard, but it's something that we should take time to work on ourselves. And there's two ways to approach something. If somebody did something wrong to you, one approach is, how dare they do that? I did so much for them. And they're doing this to me. Well, what are they thinking, right? That's a natural approach by many people. I did this for them. I did that. I'm such a person, and they did this to me. Oh, the halach is telling you, don't do it like that. How should you do it? Ultimately, whatever comes to us is from Hashem. If we get hit, if we get hurt, if we get a parking ticket, so we lose a few dollars, if we get whatever it is, ultimately, it's from Hashem for our own good to fix up something that we did. And if we approach it that way, that this had to happen to me, to fix whatever I need to fix, a kapara, whatever I could have needed. Any action, my whole life, whatever happens is from Hashem himself. So therefore, do I really need to get mad? Yeah.
So Adam, that he is a person, he is already metupan.
Okay.
You don't have problems?
No, of course he has problems in what sense? In midot, or things happening to him?
Things that happen, and when it happens, you need to fix it, and then it's gone, right?
Very good. So depends. You have different people vary so differently. Some people in some areas they're mutukan, they already have the good midah, but in other midot, no, they're not there yet. Some people don't have any good midot yet, and they have a lot more work to do. But maybe fine-tuning the midas is much harder. Meaning they already reached a certain level, but you can always get better and better. I had a teacher in the Sifta, the equivalent to high school, such a tzaddik. Such a tzaddik. He lived very far from the shul. He lived very, very far from the shul. And he was once in shul, after davening, whatever, and somebody tried to speak to him, but he davens very, very long, so he couldn't answer. So after davening, the person that approached him already went home, and he's eating his meal for Shabbos. He hears a knock on his door, and it's this teacher of mine knocked and apologized that he didn't answer him because he was davening. And then he had to walk all the way home, which is completely the other side of town. So he went all the way there to apologize for something that he didn't even do wrong. He was davening, the sitter's in front of him. If somebody sees that they're not being answered, it's obviously because he's praying. Nevertheless, he went completely out of his way to go and apologize to that person when he didn't have to. He didn't do anything wrong. He was davening. So, you have people that their midas are so fine-tuned. It's so incredible, such good people. The way they treat others, the way they should have a real, genuine avos Yisrael, the love for another Jew, to make sure that they can do whatever they could to make another Jew feel good. It's incredible. So the answer to that question is, even if somebody reached a level, there's so much to go, the extra step to fine-tune the midas to make it even better and better. So yeah.
How far can can you go?
There's no limit. One can always get better and better. Hey, Domer Razal, Kol Hakayis Ki'ilo Avid, Vedas Kechavim Umazolis. The Chachamim also tell us that whoever gets upset, it's as if they serve Avodah Zarah. How does that work? So we learn in Tanya, the reason is because at the moment when somebody gets upset, that Tzelem Eliki, whatever, it goes away from them because they should have known better and believed that whatever happened to them comes from Hashem. The fact that they didn't believe it and they got upset shows that they're lacking in the belief of Hashem. And many types of Gehenim can get to them. Shenemer haser kas milibcha v'aver ra mibsarcha. Vein ra el Gehenim. Shenemer gam ra shel yem ra balikas ein chayim chayim. Okay. V'fichach tzivli yisrachik min hakas ad sheyanhig atzmerish leyagish afilu l'dvarim hamachisim. Therefore, the Chachamim tell us to completely distance ourselves from anger until you get to a point that even if something which genuinely could make you upset, it doesn't talk to you anymore. I'm not getting upset. I don't feel anger. Once you reach such a level, you know that you distance yourself completely from anger. This is the good path. The derech tzadikim, and the way of the righteous. Shehein aluvim, einam elbin, shemin chapasim, einam ashivin, eisin me'ava, usmeichim yisurim aleim because of eimer, the ehavav k'tzeis hashemash b'gviraser. This is the derech of the tzaddikim, that whenever anything happens to them, it doesn't bother them, they don't answer, they don't respond. They believe in the Eibishter, they believe in Hashem, and it doesn't bother them. So let's quickly just summarize what we learned. So we know there's a range of people and character traits. You have complete opposites one from the other. Torah's approach is, for most of the midos, most of the character traits, is to take the middle ground, the middle path. So far, we saw two exceptions to this rule. Number one is haughtiness, ego. One can have zero ego, none of that. That's not the proper way, and we explained steps to take of how to take away ego and to have humbleness. And number two is anger. Anger and a Jew don't go together. So, and explain over here how to deal with it. And in Hashem, next week we will continue these halachas.